Forgot to do the audio check. It's been way too long since I've actually sat down and properly streamed. Speaking of which, I probably could put my mic at a little better of an angle. Though I don't appreciate, maybe if I close some apps, but I don't appreciate the lag when I'm like, I have a good time out for Community Day, but like, looking back at some of the looking at the footage I streamed, streaming's been a mess today. I just need one thing to go right. Okay. Anything else open that I don't need to have open? Because I think it's getting a little better. I was gonna do... I had plans to do something before starting things off. But... what did I even do? I'm a bit more tired than I thought. I'm kind of just pushing myself to do it because I feel bad with how many times I said I was going to stream today. If I didn't at least try to stream, I'll probably do just a couple sets of GBL just so we can record some footage of the Kanto Cup. Hypothetically, I'm not liking how things are holding up. It still says excellent on Twitch, even though it's say on LDNS, so I guess that's good enough for me. Hey, I mean, did anyone actually check out that Community Day stream? And if so, what you think? You can be honest, because I know it was bad. It seemed good in my head, it seemed good when I was recording, but, like, apparently when you're outside, it's very easy for the elements to get picked up in the mic more than your voice. I'm like, I really want to share the VOD, but I don't know if I want to expose anyone's ears to the mess that's in that VOD. Possibly I get around with it, but like, I don't know if I really have time to edit. Like, I haven't really had an opportunity. There's so many other things I gotta sit down and edit. Like, podcasting I haven't done for ages, and Game and Chill. Almost having deja vu of last month, where like I waited to the very last minute to do Game and Chill and didn't even like do a live commentated game. Well, there's things to figure out with that still too, cause I honestly fell out of Animal Crossing. I knew it was gonna happen, but it's happened. Nothing of the main updates going on right now really have felt like it was gonna be that way. Now let me just I kind of get a feeling that the audio stream and all that, I feel like I have like so many tiny little mini streams today. Well, let's see if I can one more. I'm just gonna take Twitch's word for it, because on the OBS end, it kind of looks a little bit in the red range. You know what, before I really get started on anything, let's just do a little Fireside chat stuff, because if only like a quick overview of everything I want to eventually visit in a more full-fledged editorial, because a lot of stuff doesn't happen in news and other avenues, and it also would be convenient to have something recorded now, just in case I don't get around to actually uploading something, because podcast day is already freaking tomorrow, and I honestly got nothing. I'm not too worried about that, considering like I haven't really had the time or energy to actually upload the rest of the Community Day VODs up on the audio platforms like I promised, and that's like double or triple the length of a normal podcast, so that's fine. I can if I upload all of that before Monday, that could probably count as a podcast upload for both weeks if I really had to. But rambling as is fine in of itself. I guess the first thing I could go over is like Community Day, because I just finished up Magmar Community Day, and the week before we've had the other Community Day. You know, Electabuzz. For those of you who weren't following the streams, I did kind of end up with a system of streaming all of Electabuzz Community Day from home, and did most of my gameplay with Magmar Community Day out in the open. I did try to stream part of it, for better or for worse. I mean, I would say that I'm gonna make it better in future videos, but for future stream, I just don't know how I would really work around those particular elements though. It just doesn't really seem to be like something that you can actually make a major difference with. Just doesn't, because I can't control, I can only do so much to control when wind gets in between my face and the phone mic. Maybe like with more practice holding it, it'd get better, but I just don't know if I want to expose the viewers to that. But I also was, which is a little bit of a shame because I really did enjoy the streams, like despite the challenges doing streaming in that particular environment. Left. Hello, squirrel. Oh wow, it's actually getting closer. Goodbye, squirrel. Left. I can experiment around a little bit more with it on my own time. There should be at least a little bit of time before the next Community Day. Now, on the tangent of the doubled Community Days, did anyone actually feel a little overwhelmed by having 2 Community Days in the same month? Maybe it's just because I juggle so many different things, but like I'm almost thinking that I prefer if it was just all on one day or like all in one weekend instead of like spread between 2 separate weekends. Mind you, I definitely do feel that like the fact that I was making content of it played a little bit of a role in just why it was so overwhelming to try to do 2 Community Days. And I guess I could have also been avoided if I just like stuck to really focus on one and not the other, but I don't know, like it just didn't want to miss out on either, especially because like I definitely felt I was missing out with how the last Community Day went. I wanted to be outside at least part of the time. I didn't want to spend the whole day inside in the stream, but weather was kind of sucky that particular day. Things were just like winds were really bad, and I thought it was going to be storming, even though it didn't. No rain really shed the whole time, so I probably could have snuck out. But like I already had the stream set up by the time I realized that the weather wasn't going to get as bad as I thought it was. But I mean, like it was fun. But that's the thing, like I think I kind of burnt myself out with streaming. That just doing so much, because Saturday I had some more tests while I was out in the field, trying to get a feel of how that particular program worked. And then Sunday was the actual Community Day stream, and then there was Little Cup. Wow, Little Cup was just last week already, and I went through all my sets on stream on that. That's like two full streams, technically overtime streams, because like I'm pretty sure both Little Cup and Go Battle League went on for longer than I typically would spend on a live stream. So those two things combined was a lot in of itself. And then like I don't know if I really want to count the on the field thing, because that was like when I was on the walk anyways, and I would have been on that walk whether or not I was streaming, but it is technically another stream I did. So there was a lot of streaming and I just needed a break. That's kind of why it was just so off throughout the entire work week. And honestly, that probably like affected the podcasting, because I know I did promise to like spread out the Community Day video audio format stuff throughout this week, and I only uploaded the one at the very beginning of the week. Sorry again about that. Since this is the topic, I guess we're gonna have our casual gaming chill for today, I can at least say it was nice. Both Community Days were nice. I even liked the little egg catch bonus. Like, it worked, it complemented the fact that these shinies had baby Pokemon fairly well. And minus of, I could see the argument for, like, this is a pandemic, like, encouraging walking outside may not be the greatest thing, but here's the thing, like, a lot of it's gonna depend regionally. Some people are gonna have to be inside, while other people can be outside, but they just have to stay away from other people. You know, walk outside in a park or something. So I can see the conundrum there. And I guess that I could definitely see like how Niantic had a little undersight of that. I don't know, like minus the pandemic stuff, I like the idea behind the egg hatching is the point I was trying to get at. So there is all that. It's definitely interesting to do the whole concept of swapping, having 2 community days, one weekend after another. And I thought this whole, even though it was kind of dumb because it didn't really flesh out the moves being as valuable as it could have been in past community days. But I thought the concept of pretty much having like a topsy-turvy, where the electric Pokemon got the fire type community day move and the fire type got the community move of the electric type. And I thought that was cute of a concept at the very least. But man, like, I'm glad they actually, it definitely felt, even though as you can see, I kind of drained from my Pokeballs, even though I was outside for like 3 hours for this community day. I drained from my Pokeballs real fast. Catch rate was still better than last week. And for that, I can appreciate. Cause, I mean, yeah. I guess some people were under the impression that for community days, they lowered the catch rate to, you know, something reasonable. And other people were under the impression that community days didn't mess around with the catch rate. And honestly, the reason is because it honestly does feel like sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I feel like there's a couple times where they completely forgot to lower the catch rate before this. Sometimes I feel like they left it the same on purpose. So that's kind of, between all that, you just really don't know anymore. As sad as that may sound. So the move was a little underwhelming. Technically, both these Pokemon have existed in shiny form before. Magmar actually has a couple events in the past where you actually catch it. Now, great. Now I'm kind of worried that the desktop audio is a little too loud. I mean, at least the worst case scenario, I have an audio backup being recorded as we speak at this, so yeah, I'll have something to upload at the very least. Podcast. Electabuzz Community Day. Where was my train of thought? Electabuzz, Magmar. Oh yeah, interesting Pokemon to have for a Community Day. Magmar's technically been around before, but like rare. And I think like technically, could you hatch Electakid and Electabuzz from eggs before this? Great, I'm actually forgetting now. So we're gonna just assume that they existed before, but it was a rare thing, so having an event where you actually could get them out of eggs was pretty good. My only complaint was the fact that, like, not only would you sometimes get eggs besides the whole 2 kilometer eggs that the community day Pokemon were coming out of, but beyond getting those 5 kilometer eggs, you'd also sometimes get 2 kilometer eggs that had Pokemon besides those Pokemon in the mix. And I know it seems kind of contradictory when, like, in the past when they've done community days, specifically around this sort of thing, that we have a community has complained real hard about just eggs being flooded with a community Pokemon that we're already catching. But that's the thing I think that makes this different. The Pokemon we were hunting for from the eggs is technically different from the Pokemon we were catching in the wild. Sure, you can evolve Electakid into Electabuzz, but the only way you're going to get that shiny Electakid was from hatching the eggs. So that's probably why that whole concept was a little bit annoying. And I'm only speaking from my experience. I can only speak personally from my experience with Magmar Community, because like I said, I was stuck inside all of Electabuzz Community Day, which sucked. Because like, walking is part of what got me into Pokemon Go. Everyone has their own thing that like draws them into Pokemon Go. And well, for me personally, I would say rockets, but lately I kind of like fell out of that. Or at least like taking it a lot more casually than I used to. Only because like just the stress of trying to shiny hunt shadow Pokemon was just not worth the payoff. I do have some stories related to that though, I'll get to that a little later. So the point of that tangent was, my favorite part about Community Day, even more than Community, is just like getting out and walking. And I do at least feel like I have plenty of areas in my... And the areas I play are pretty safe because they're all parks, wide open. And it's getting to be the winter, so there's barely any people out. And definitely way more than enough space to actually like distance yourself, not just 6 feet apart from people, but for me sometimes it seems like I'm trying to be 6 miles away from other people. All that to say, I missed walking, so I was really glad, even though I kind of went overboard, I was able to walk for Magmar Community Day. You know what, let me finish up this battle that I'm literally just doing for podcast filler, or just visual entertainment while I rambled on, and showcase some of the stuff I've gotten from Magmar Community Day. Maybe some stuff from Electabuzz Community Day too. Oh yeah, let's just get the crazy story out of the way. Yeah, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 Magmars. All from Lucky Trades from one person. I believe like even under 20 trades. It definitely felt like between either 20 or 30. Get 4 Lucky Magmars from all that mess. I'm not gonna show... Oh, what am I doing? I have the stream layout. I can probably like click a button and showcase the streams or showcase their IVs. Nothing amazing, but just getting that many Luckies in a row was pretty nifty. Yeah, so like they're good, but like there's nothing that like has that perfect attack stat that I really want from good IV Pokemon. It is what it is. I don't mind that shiny Electabuzz there. Because we have that event going on currently where they increase the trading range, I was just trying to get some lucky trades done, and one of the people I was trading with, like, we couldn't figure out what to trade, so we just swapped shiny Electabuzz. I don't know, I don't think I'm gonna evolve it because I could do better, but it is what it is. It's still pretty nice for what it is. Backtracking a bit, I guess the first thing I want to showcase is my shiny count for my Electabuzz hunt. And if you're super observant, you may already know something I alluded to a little earlier on. But yeah, okay, yeah, actually that's a... Oh, duh, because it's counting the magic cards. I was gonna say, that's more Magmars than I thought I actually got. I only got 13. I'm honestly a little disappointed. Maybe like just how generous they've been in the past has spoiled me a little, but I'm a little disappointed. Like, I got like 13, if not a little more than that, off Electabuzz Community Day. The Community Day that I played entirely from home. And yet, like, even with that, my Magmar grind was a little bit low. And yeah, I used up all the 2-kilometer eggs already, so... got no surprise shinies hiding out in the back or anything. And was there, like, any... I guess I could next showcase the Magmars I ultimately decided to evolve. Mortar. I was kind of all over the place, and yeah, I definitely got carried away. Some of it was like, oh, this is a really good PvP Pokemon. I'm gonna just evolve right away before I forget, because there's no way I have a better one hiding in the back. And next thing I know, I find this guy that's even better. And I actually found two of them with the same exact IV setup. And apparently, like, this IV setup is also the #1 Great League Magmar. So, I mean, why not? I don't know if I'm ever going to use a Magmar in Go Battle League or equivalent. And it says #2, but I could have sworn that this is the #1 IV setup. I'll have to double check that later. Anything else of note, though? Well, let's go back to the main mortars. Yeah, definitely when... I mean, I had to evolve one of the Luckies just because, like, got way too many Luckies not to take advantage of that. And I think this is the first one I evolved because, like, it's shiny and 360 seemed pretty good before getting all these other ones, so I thought I'd go for it. And I at least don't regret having both the 15, 11, 14 and the 15, 14, 14. Because one's shiny and one's better IVs. And I mean, let's double check the candy count. It's not like I ran out of candy, but I'm trying to be a little more conservative with candy ever since they announced extra large candy being a thing. Thanks to, like, people who've tested out the system already, like Zoe 2 Dots. I'm not too worried about getting XL candy, but it does make me be a little more considerate of my resources because it actually matters. Like, there's actually going to be a use for my access candy in the future, even if I'm going to be fine in the long run, regardless of which way I approach it. I don't know. Maybe I'll find some people that missed out on community to trade with this, but it's going to depend if Niantic actually, like, opens up the remote trading thing again. Because pandemic, I haven't actually been in person with any of my friends in the Pokemon Go community since all this pandemic stuff started. Closest I've gotten to interacting with someone in person was the times when I, like, traded with someone by driving my car up to their driveway, and while they're sitting in their house, we set up and do trades. That's, like, the only time before the trading event, or the trading testing, I guess is more accurate, was revealed. I do hope they play around with that a little bit more future, even if it never becomes a worldwide thing. I'm as much as I try to be a realist, I won't lie, I'd be hype if we actually got remote trading worldwide, even if it was, like, with only Lucky Friends or some other sort of stipulation like that. Cause a lot of my closest friends are actually people who don't even live in the same state with me. Oh, well, you know, that was an example of one of them. And they were actually people that I've been close friends with before Pokemon Go was a thing, and Pokemon Go's pretty much just been a main focus of my content for the past 4 years. So it's kind of surreal to think about a time frame where there was people that I knew before Pokemon Go. And it's just, like, a lot. Which is why I understand why Niantic has been so hesitant in the past to even consider or do anything that would hint at a remote trading system. But I'm not gonna lie, I would take advantage of remote trading. I would love remote trading. In fact, I would argue that it would allow me to get closer to my friends, not just, like, make me feel more socially distanced. It would allow me to be closer together because it'll let me be with people that I couldn't normally be in person with. And you know what? I got so much on that tangent, I almost completely forgot about Electabuzz Community Day. I don't know if I got anything really fun or snazzy to showcase with Electabuzz Community Day, though. But we can, like, scroll through here and, like, a trigger anything. Yeah, like, all three of these definitely well before Community Day was a thing. I probably should evolve that one, but I mean, I think like Electabuzz community move of Flamethrower is actually even less useful for PvP than Magmortar's Thunderbolt. And I've heard mixed things about Magmortar and Thunderbolt, so I don't even know if that's a great move. Well, this is a shiny, and I actually evolved it to have Flamethrower. So surely this one's gotta be at least decent, right? Yeah, it almost has perfect attack. Yeah, a lot of the experience with Electabuzz Community Day was the fun that I had with my streaming audience while I was doing it. I guess that one's okay. It's at least 3 stars. And why did I evolve this one? I might have been thinking that it was going to be decent for PvP or something. Oh, here's another 3-star. They didn't actually evolve. I mean, like, depending on how they decide to do December Community Day, maybe we can turn it around. And yeah, I unfortunately have no Electabuzz to show from that whole ordeal due to, you know, the situation. Which is a shame. I would have loved to actually been able to hatch at least a couple Electabuzz just to see if there were shinies in any of them. Hopefully they'll let us do something with that for December Community Day. Though, that does bring me to another topic that also be a good way to round this up. Whew. It's almost here. We're less than a month away from December's Community Day. And I honestly don't know how it's gonna go. Like, I just have there's a part of my gut that questions if it's gonna actually be similar to past years. Because the big thing that like makes December Community Day so exciting in the past was the ability to evolve pretty much any Pokemon that's ever had a Community Day to get their Community Day move. So even though like I think some news from Niantic kind of indirectly confirmed this, with the whole concept of saying you won't be able to get Blast Burn on Charizard, but we will have events going on in 2021 that will allow you to get Blast Burn Charizard. Now, I'm kind of questioning my memory now, because for some reason I remember them saying, specifically, pretty much indirectly saying that you would be able, this would apply for December's Community Day. But now I don't remember, so now I don't want to, like, spread around misinformation. But it kind of brings the fear of, in general, just how long is December Community Day? Is it even fair to put it up to the same bar as 2019 and 2018 Community Day? Especially with like just the pool of Community Day Pokemon growing up more and more. 2020 is a perfect example of that, because I was trying like the Community Day Pokemon I actually wanted more in the 2019 December event was Charmander, a Pokemon from the previous year's Community Day. And you remember what they did with that? They pretty much just stuck all of them in raids. And that was an honest mess. Because there's so many raid Pokemon to hunt for. But this felt like there was so few 1-star raids popping up. At least in comparison to like all the Pokemon they were trying to cram into that raid pool. Like 12 different Pokemon. And trying to shiny hunt for them off that? Not to even get into, like, the questionability of, like, is that pay-to-win sort of shiny hunting method with the way raid passes work. Like, as we get more and more Community Days with more and more Pokemon, I feel like it's going to be harder and harder to actually give them all the proper time in the spotlight that we want. So, like, we possibly have 3 years in Community Day under our belt coming for December Community Day. And that's under the assumption that they're actually going to even bring back old Community Day Pokemon and let us evolve them. I don't know, it's just like, I think a big part of my concern if we're going to have those benefits again is just from the fact that they've been introducing all these mechanics that seem that seem to like contradict a lot of the elements that made up Community Day, or at least provide us with alternative ways to actually get the things we want out of December Community Day. Elite Charge TMs are a perfect example of that. Because it seems with Elite Charge TMs, and the fact that you use them to learn past Community Day moves, it's almost like they were put in the game to like say, you missed out on a Community Day? Well, you don't have to wait till December, you can just use an item. An item that we make so rare that we really encourage you to actually spend $12 just to get, because like the other items definitely don't add up to the value of the Community Day box, cough cough. And then there's like the whole concept they start adding of bringing back old Pokemon for Community Day. I mean, obviously Charmander Community Day was the one that actually made it through, but let's not forget that like they tried to do that with Blastoise, and I think like they even tried to do it with Bulbasaur. They tried to like sneak a couple old Community Days back into the mix. Dratini is another example too, just for the whole voting system. It's the only reason like we haven't seen this before Charmander Community Day was because those Pokemon just never made it high enough in the Community Day votes. So I bring this up because this means in my head that Niantic already knew, or they already had a plan of what to do if that Pokemon won and there was 2 different Community Day moves in the pool. And because just from what I understand of the way this game works, I don't think they'd let you get both Community Day moves, and they certainly wouldn't like put people through the frustration of it randomly getting one move or the other. So what they ultimately decided to do with Charmander's Community Day makes perfect sense, like, or at least I could have saw it coming a mile away. So I'm kind of worried that Elite Charge TMs are replacing that whole mechanic that kind of was one of the big things that made like the December Community Day special. I mean, like having like a whole weekend, however long you want to do, of just all the Pokemon from the past year's Community Day. That was special in of itself too, but I feel like the thing is like people actually been holding on to their Pokemon for some of their Pokemon for over a year, specifically to evolve them on December Community Day, because the past 2 years of Community Day, on December's Community Day, you always got to evolve any Pokemon that had a Community Day in the past to reteach it its Community Day move. And there's like so many, like, unless you actually were willing to use League Charging them, like Shadow Pokemon, a lot of things that could shake up the meta are pretty much relying on the assumption that we'll be able to teach our Pokemon Community Day, all the Community Day moves on December's Community Day. And I guess the whole point of like this whole ramble is please don't get your hopes up so high that you get crushed in disappointment if things don't plan out. It's perfectly reasonable to expect it. They've done it 2 years in a row, but I just don't know. There's so many little things going on in the background that if they were going to break that tradition any year, this would be the year they do it. So hey, wow, I actually kind of made like a whole half-hour podcast recording of just all that rambling. And it had an overall theme, so I don't know. Like, I'll definitely upload this tomorrow if I don't get anything together for Community Day, or the Magmar Community Day stuff. And maybe I'll upload it this week regardless, because this is all pretty topical, and like I don't think like I can like hold on to this to the backlog, because like the longer I wait, the less relevant Community Day is going to get, especially with all the speculation with December Community Day. And I'll figure it out after I'm done streaming, and I'll let you all know on the internet, on good old Twitter, and like my site that has the feed to my new specific Twitter account. So I guess I'm gonna wrap it up here. Take care. And for anyone that's coming in, as soon as I finish taking care of this Articuno, we will hop over to Go Battle League. Oh, excuse me one moment. Thinking all that build up for a sneeze that like thought I was gonna explode before I could mute my mic from the sneeze. And the moment I mute, no sneeze comes out. There is still that itch in my nose, though. Alright, let me save this, and as soon as I do that, as soon as I save this, we'll hop over for some GBL. Oh, it's already 9 o'clock. I wanted to get started earlier, but like I keep on saying, like, there's just something in me that was blocking my creative juices this week. Well, I mean, considering how busy I was and everything else I brought up before, makes perfect sense, but maybe someone I've just recently, like, am on the verge of following closer, was streaming that weird video game that caught people by storm, and I just couldn't tear my eyes away. That may be the actual reason, with all these excuses I was making up of why I didn't start streaming earlier. Electabuzz Magmar Community Day Retrospective. Yeah, I just created a time paradox because I can't even say procrastinated, because I really was legit tired and busy. But, like, I definitely don't want to wait longer than a week to upload this audio format, but I also want to make sure I get all the podcasts, the audio forms of the Electabuzz Community Day stream that I promised, at least up on SoundCloud before this weekend's. But that's a problem for Jackie KF tomorrow. Tell already, the squirrels are very used to people around here. I did not even realize how used they are. Like, I know this is like a park and people around people. Like, if I didn't know any better, I feel like they were gonna like raid attack me or something for, like, invading their turf. Really wish the camera was a little bit better quality so you can actually see this nutty mess. Animal humor. Really want me to do. And no shiny quite yet. What? And good IVs.